Hey Luke, have you ever had a Joker moment before?
No.
Well, now people will be having Joaquin moments because Joaquin Phoenix's sudden exit from film sparks huge outrage in Hollywood. And do you know why Joaquin Phoenix left this film?
No, I don't.
Because it was gay.
Oh, yeah, no, I actually, heard about this, yeah.
Oh, by the way, this is just a side note. The author of this article is called Myra Butt.
Okay.
That's pretty gay.
No, that is pretty gay. Yeah, but obviously what was hilarious is, like, he got cold feet, like, 5 days before shooting or something. And it's so funny because he was going to be in this, like, gay erotic movie. And I saw this tweet on Twitter, obviously, where somebody said he was about to shoot the movie and then somebody shouted, "Ayo," like, and it's funny. It's like, actually, do I want to be in a gay movie? No, actually, I don't. You know, I just find the concept very funny of like an actor who's won an Oscar just getting cold feet because he's afraid people are going to call him gay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, maybe he's not that good of an actor. Maybe he realized in that moment it's like I can't pretend to be gay.
I can't pretend. No, I will become gay. That's what's going to happen.
It was like, am I gonna have to be method?
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out in the near and distant past and give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I'm your host Michael and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke, and this week we are celebrating the 20-year anniversary and also the general superhero vibes that we've been on recently. I was just going to say, sorry, I said like vibes, it does occur to me actually. It's just that we did Spider-Man before. Like the next film we're doing it's about a kind of hero, but...
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, it's like what I said when we reviewed Spider-Man. This, I guess, theme we are doing for August it's 2004 August, like you said.
Yes.
So 3 movies from 2004 which focus on a hero or heroes.
Or sheroes.
I don't think heroes is it's no. I mean, you have heroines.
Is it? Yeah.
These 3 movies that we're doing in a row focus on the hero dressing up in a disguise and solving crime in one way or another.
Yes.
And of course, last time it was Spider-Man 2. This time it's Catwoman, and we'll see what the next in this trilogy will be, the final movie.
You'll find out at the end of the episode.
Yeah, with a couple of heroes. It is 2 people dress up or in a disguise to solve some crime. But yeah, so Catwoman is up now. It's its 20-year anniversary. It's a 2004 American superhero film directed by Pitoff. That's it. Just
Pitoff.
Just Pitoff. Nothing else.
It's like Cher.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know it's going to be a good movie when Pitoff is the guy at the helm. Do you know what nationality he is, by the way?
Bulgarian.
No, he's French.
Oh, okay. That's not. I was feeling Slavic.
Why?
I don't know. Like, because like Pitovsky. Like if he had ski on the end of his name, you can't deny that.
Okay. Well, the movie stars Halle Berry, Benjamin Bratt, Lambert Wilson.
Oh, this is a Bratt summer.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it wasn't a Bratt summer back in 2004. No. That's for sure. Francis Conroy and Sharon Stone. Of course, the movie is based on, I like how it says, it is loosely based on the DC Comics character Catwoman, because of course Catwoman in the DC universe is called Selina Kyle. This Catwoman is called something else. Yes. I'm not sure why that's the case, but we'll get into it. So yeah, the movie came out, of course, in 2004 on July the 23rd. So yeah, we're slightly over its 20-year anniversary. But Michael, can you tell me what the budget was for Catwoman?
I'm thinking a lot of the budget would have gone to Halle Berry, but then I don't know. I'm gonna go for 70 million.
That is wrong, Michael, because despite the great CGI, let me rephrase that. Because of the great CGI,
it was even more.
It was actually $100 million, which is incredible, really. That's this movie, which again isn't that long. I mean, Halle Berry got paid a ton, apparently. Well, I imagine so, like you said. But yeah, it's incredible it costs that much, considering the product at the end. So can you tell me...
This feels like, at times this almost feels like a Disney Channel, like, original, like, kind of like, you know, like Kim Possible thing.
We'll get onto the review in a bit. But firstly, at the box office, how much did this make?
Now, I don't think this movie was a massive commercial disappointment, but it might be compared to the budget. I don't know. Like, I knew about this movie, and I do think...
Why did you know about it, though?
Well, I knew about it because it was bad.
Okay.
But I also feel like Halle Berry. I feel like every single time I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. I think I'm saying Berry instead of Berry. Halle Berry. She has I feel like she must have had some draw, but I don't think this was like doing great numbers. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it did 200 million.
Oh wow, you have gone less than half.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, because the correct answer is 82 million. This was
No, sorry. You mean I did more than double? I was really confused because you said less than half, and I was like, really? So it made over 400
Sorry,
million?
yes. You. That was my mistake. You're right. Okay. The actual total was less than half. But yeah, so your guess was more than double the total, which was of course 82 million. So you're getting a mark against your name for that.
Because that was like a crazy time because like I feel like nowadays. Like, because obviously people know about Catwoman. Like, I'd feel like you'd be guaranteed to make a decent amount of money simply because people know, like, so like, oh, superhero, I've heard of that.
Yeah, but this was in the era of where superhero movies weren't as popular as today. They were still, of course, relatively popular, but not as much as today. Yeah. And throughout this movie, I just kept thinking, who is this movie for? Like, they Pietov created a movie which it didn't have any appeal. Like, I can't imagine, like, women going to see it. Like, I can't imagine men enjoying this movie either. Like, your stereotypical, like, comic book reading man, you know? And I'm just like, what the hell was this movie? But anyway, Michael, I'll ask you the question. Did you like Catwoman?
No.
No?
There were funny moments. It is approaching so bad it's good territory, which is good. It's not like, because there are other movies where, of course, it could just be boring. I think there are moments about this film that are goofy. Having said that, I don't think the film, like, one of the problems is there are points where the film's kind of competent in a way where the main issue is just, like you say, who is it for? Like, for example, some of the romance stuff is fine, but yeah, obviously the question is, well, are we watching our Catwoman for romance? Overall I didn't like it. The one thing I'll say right away is that it's kind of crazy to me how un-DC this movie is. Like, I was thinking about it, I was like, because obviously we've seen Catwoman before in Batman Returns, which is like this kind of dark, gothic character.
There's a Michelle Pfeiffer cameo.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, so when she visits the crazy cat lady,
yes.
There's a bunch of pictures.
One of the pictures, okay.
Yeah, one of the pictures is Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say the crazy cat lady was Michelle Pfeiffer, and I was going to be like, oh my god, I like, that's embarrassing for me.
Yeah, she should have taken some of that anti-aging cream.
Yeah.
So did I like this movie?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't ask you.
No, it's fine. I think this movie is like one of the worst things that I've ever seen.
Oh.
Like, I can't believe how bad it is, and it goes to, like, everything is bad. Like, again, I mentioned before, the target audience. Who is this movie for? I don't understand what this was and how this got made, because again, it doesn't appeal to comic book fans. It doesn't appeal, like, a lot of the I guess comedy in the movie surrounds there's this, like, comic relief character who's Catwoman's friend, you know?
Yeah. Like, she's like the bubbly character.
Yeah, the what's another?
She's the Ned.
Well, she's not quite as big as Ned. Yeah, but I was looking for another, like, synonym for, like, fat, but we can't call it
rotund.
Fat. No, that implies fat. Like, bubbly is a good one where it's, like, polite.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's I see what you're on about.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously there's, like, curvaceous. Like, you can say that, and it's like, when they say that, oh, she's very curvaceous.
Yeah, but, like, bubbly is a good, you know, like, oh, we know what that means. Yeah. But yeah, so this friend, right, who's the comic relief, those kind of scenes, those those lines of dialogue that the friend has with Halle Berry, it implies, like, well, it's aimed towards, like, a female audience. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm getting, like, what's the word, Bridget Jones's Diary vibes, things like that.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure that's specific, to be honest. Just any, like, generic, like, thing which is aimed towards women, like, you know, rom-com kind of dialogue, you know?
Yes.
And that is completely different to, like, you know, what male comic book, I guess, consumers are into. Like, it's the complete opposite. And again, I don't think at this time, you know, you could just put Catwoman out there and it'd be automatically successful like today.
Yeah.
So they had to aim it towards a certain demographic, which they just didn't do. Again, it's like, and that's the thing, women who are into rom-coms, are they going to see a fucking Catwoman movie? No, yeah. they are not. So again, it's just like, it just misses the mark for any demographic.
Yeah, I mean, look, I want to say this right away so we can make clear that we are straight. Obviously, there are some scenes of Halle Berry with like wearing leather. I think maybe even like oiled her up a bit. So like, let's just not ignore those, because obviously, you know, there is some fan service for the fellas.
No, but that's the thing, like, honestly, the fetish cat thing is so weird that it just I don't enjoy it. don't enjoy it from that perspective.
No, I don't know. I feel like it sometimes. I mean, like, I'm not saying that I was really into her drinking that cream.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, when she was just walking, like when they did that little shot of her on that building, and it all looked very realistic in terms of the background she was in.
The CGI is just so off-putting as well.
I do like how like the background is obviously her friend got that leather outfit.
Oh yeah.
Like, and that's why she had it, which is fun.
And that's a great backstory, yeah, for the outfit. But yeah, so in general, I don't like this movie because, well, yeah, I don't like it because it's really bad, obviously, but again, there's this intrigue of just watching it and thinking, wow, so many things were wrong. Like every single scene. I don't know if I've watched a movie which has this bigger budget, $100 million, that is as poorly constructed or directed or like, put together as this one. I mean, I don't know if you would agree or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I felt as like I wasn't as down on this film as you were, and I was just like, okay. And I'm just trying to think in terms of like the budget. I mean, it's weird because like I guess I see what you're coming from about the fact that it doesn't really have, because I was going to say, like, well, like Deadpool was bad, but sorry, not Deadpool, fucking Daredevil. I don't blame myself for getting those two confused. Yeah, Daredevil, which obviously we've reviewed before, that was bad, but then you'd be like, well, at least it was like clear who it was for.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like definitely.
And Bullseye. Let's not forget Bullseye.
Yeah, Bullseye was pretty great. Yeah.
Bullseye was pretty great.
Yeah, leaning into that like who is this for thing is it does make it clear that like they didn't know what they were doing. Having said that, in terms of my subjective appearance, I don't mind a good rom-com. I liked Love Actually, so in a way for me, I'm like, even though it is very weird that you have these two tones combined, I was like, I liked both the tones individually. I don't think the film did a good job at it, but
Well, I mean, I don't think the film could like those romance scenes. They're very, I guess, cringy.
I don't think the guy's that hot. I think the guy looks evil.
Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah, like I mean, I feel like he's played like an evil guy in some films before.
I think that's racist, honestly.
Like yes, yes, I'm racist.
He's just a normal, like dark skin, brown skinned guy. Well, I mean, obviously, not normal in the sense of he doesn't look like a normal guy. He's obviously a movie star, but
I want to say like. And maybe this will just be specify my racism. I feel like he's too pointy. Okay. He seems a bit pointy. Like there's something about him. Just his face is kind of pointy in like a way where.
Well, I tell you what,
I get evil vibes from it.
It was very pointy in that basketball scene.
Oh yeah. do we see his semi erect penis through his basketball shorts?
Why did you have to be specific there?
I just thought that's what you were talking about, so I thought I thought other people might not be clear on what you were saying.
Okay, thank you for that. But yeah, so there's nothing about this movie which is good. Honestly, nothing. Like Halle Berry is not good, but again, she's directed so poorly. Like the character doesn't work, the vibe doesn't work, the tone doesn't work, all the dialogue is just awful, the CGI is awful, the plot, the plot in general is just so basic, and there's hardly the plot hardly exists in this movie, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it is fun. Like when you think about honestly, in terms of the plot, you realize how female centric it does seem to be. Like I would guess logically, they must have been going for women, because it's like obviously the plot, as we'll get into, it's about like makeup. Like that's what the plot is about. And you're like, well, if it's a plot about makeup, and I kind of already likened it to like a Disney movie. I think it's fair to say that for the most part, those Disney movies are mostly enjoyed by women, obviously, I guess more so girls to be specific. But yeah, like I could 100% see this as like, you wouldn't have to change that much, especially, I mean, with some of the people who work at Disney, you probably wouldn't have to change some of the gratuitous leering shots and things like that. But you could like make this like Kim Possible, the movie. Oh, Kim, she's got an internship at this makeup company, but there's an evil person there, and like Disney would be like, we can do that. I guess like you wouldn't be able to let people die, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if these characters are from the comics. It doesn't appear to be the case, honestly, because I'm just looking at the cast, and there is no hyperlink to Laurel Harder's character. So yeah, maybe you're right on that. But that's the thing. Obviously, the villain is female, and I think the only reason why the villain is female is to contrast it with the fact that Catwoman is also female. So that's why they went with that.
I think you mean really parallel rather than contrast.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
I hate you.
That was the wrong word to use, yes. So yeah, it's Catwoman is a female, so the villain's going to be a female, and what do women love? Yeah. Makeup and anti-aging beauty cream.
So yeah, maybe it's the opposite. Maybe they weren't aiming at women at all. Maybe they were just like working off some very reductionist ideas of what women are like.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, I remember back in the day, like fucking anti-aging cream and beauty. I mean, maybe that's still the case now, and I just watched less TV. But I remember like constantly, so many adverts for like beauty cream. Like this is when I used to watch TV a lot more when I was growing up in the 2000s. So I don't know. Maybe that's still the case. It probably is. It probably is, of course. If you were again someone like Pitoff or who wrote the screenplay, John Brancato, Michael Ferris, and John Rogers, all men. So you're thinking, okay, we have a female hero, a female villain. So what's going to be the conflict? Okay, something regarding makeup, because that's the thing that women like. And of course, you could work it.
Sorry, I just found something interesting. You know what? These writers, they also wrote The Net.
Oh, wow.
Remember The Net?
The Net.
And The Net kind of felt like a similar movie.
I don't think so.
Well, like I just remember it felt similar, and it was about like a woman who discovers some secrets. They like clearly John Brancato and Michael Ferris. They like writing female characters.
Okay, they love doing that. Yeah. So I think in general maybe the plot came from like, I guess, semi-sexist ideas. And what would an evil woman do? Well, she'd be obsessed with keeping herself young. How many nitpicks do you have, Michael?
I have 2.
I have 2 as well. So you go first.
Yeah. So one is that weirdly I've written them in the wrong order. I wrote those prison bars are so hilariously separated. Like it seems unrealistic that the bars would be. Like, obviously, I get she has magic powers so she can contort her body slightly, but I do like the fact that they have bars that allow somebody who still like has the dimensions of a human being to squeeze their body through them at the police station. I'm not an expert on police station prison bars, but I feel like they've got to be close together than that. And the other one's this. If I walked on people discussing like side effects, which is obviously what Patience walks in on at the lab thing, I'm going to be honest, like, and maybe this is why I die, I wouldn't run off like that. I'd be like, oh, hello there. Like, I'd probably just try to act like I hadn't seen anything at all, because I'd be like, well, clearly this is like above my pay grade. But it just seemed a bit unrealistic that she was like, oh, I'm going to immediately assume here that this is some kind of evil shenanigans and run away. I'd be like, oh, they're corporate people. There's probably some evil shenanigans going on, but I'm sure they won't mind me just popping in and putting us down and being off on my merry way.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, so my nitpicks. I wrote in my nitpicks the fat friend. What's the term again? Bubbly. Bubbly. Yeah. How did her bubbly friend get her hands on that beauty cream? So obviously.
Oh, you mean a hot man at the end?
Wait, what?
Oh, I thought you were talking about like because the beauty cream. I thought you said. I thought you were being gay. I thought you were saying the beauty queen because like at the end she's being fed strawberries by some dude.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like that. Like why was she being fed strawberries by a sexy dude at the end, and you were calling him a beauty queen, but you actually said beauty cream.
Well, think about why would he be a queen? That's a term for a gay person.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Well, I thought because you wanted him to. I
think that says something about you. To be honest, that you jumped to that conclusion.
Tell me about this beauty cream thing.
Anyway, well, yeah. Obviously, this is the beauty cream, which is dangerous, and she's putting it on, but it's causing her to be ill. And yeah, you think, again, it wouldn't last that long, honestly, if after taking it for like a month, every woman who took it, that should be actually another nitpick.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could say, I'll let you say that's a more substantial issue with the plot.
But basically, she's just this low-level, graphic designer. She's not an important person in this company. How has she got her hands on like this, thing which isn't even, in the market yet? Like it's not even
sexual favors.
Yeah, it's not even been released yet. How has she got it? So
let's just say there's someone in the distribution who's got a thing for BBWs, big bubbly women.
Big bubbly women. Okay, that makes sense. And also, the CGI zooms throughout the city. I assume it's Gotham. Even though they never say it.
Yeah, even though they refuse to consider themselves to be in a comic book at all.
Yeah, it's just very early 2000s. I mean, it's not necessary because it looks like shit, but like, you're watching, it's these CGI buildings, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the early 2000s. This is where the good shit is. I mean, that's the thing. Like in general, you talked about like Daredevil, of course, which is another early 2000s superhero movie, which I enjoyed. I think more than this because this is just really bad on a lot of levels and. It struggles to be it's so bad it's good, I think, because it's just like bad. Every single thing is bad, but Daredevil is like kind of funny bad, and especially Bullseye. Bullseye elevates that movie a lot, And
I like those days.
Yeah, and there's not enough in this movie which I enjoy because of how bad it is, honestly, compared to like Daredevil. I think there's a clear difference there. But anyway, Michael, shall we get into the plot?
Yes.
So the plot centers on Patience Phillips, which is the worst name ever, honestly. A meek graphic designer who discovers a conspiracy within the cosmetics company she works for that involves a dangerous product that could cause widespread health problems. Well, she only discovers this like an hour and 10 minutes into the movie. It takes a while. After being discovered and murdered by the conspirators, Patience is revived by an Egyptian Mao cat that grants her superhuman cat-like abilities, allowing her to become the crime-fighting superheroine Catwoman. Again, like I've said before, there's hardly a plot. She discovers this conspiracy on accident. She gets killed, and then for some reason these cats save her. I don't really know why they had an interest in her from the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to suggest some ways this film could have been elevated. No, I don't really care. But I was thinking it would be nice if I understood the, I guess, meta logic of how the hell this happens, because it's so is this just a universe with magic in it? I guess so. But then it's kind of at the same time, the explanation of how the villain becomes a bad guy or bad gal, if you like, is very scientific. It's it's this, So it's kind of I was it's weird that there's just one thing that's pretty much magic in it that happens. Yeah, no, I agree. And again, it's very weird. We'll talk about her origin story compared to the actual Selena Kyle later. I want to read a description from the legal website that I watched the movie on, because this description is something. Are you ready? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm ready for it. So I always love these, to be honest. Catwoman is the story of a shy, sensitive artist, Patient Phillips. Oh yeah, throughout the movie, it's oh yeah, I'm an artist, but that never gets resolved in any way. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, she wants to be. I want to see her be maybe she has to sketch pictures of Spider-Man, and suddenly J. Jonah Jameson. Oh wait, DC. Damn it. Yeah. So Patience Phillips, a woman who can't seem to stop apologizing for her own existence. Oh, wow. She works as a graphic designer for Hedare Beauty, a mammoth cosmetics company on the verge of releasing a revolutionary anti-aging product. The thing is, honestly, if she appears to be the lead graphic designer from what we can tell, that's a pretty big deal, considering, this company, Hedare Beauty, it seems like it's a pretty important company. Yeah, and also how hard it is for women to get ahead in the corporate world as well. Yes. It's quite impressive. Yes, of course. Well, the only way to get ahead is to, Yes, as Kamala would say. Well, I was going to mention, obviously, Sharon Stone. Her character did that for 15 years ago, and that's why she's in the position she's in. But of course, she's a model, so it's different. But yeah, so again, being apparently the lead graphic designer in this company, that's not nothing. Yeah, this feels like it feels like it's almost like we're back in the 90s, where people who actually have a lot of their life made for them, with Reality Bites, people who have basically their life made for them are complaining about it. Yeah, it's oh man, I wanted to be an artist, and this is lame. I found a job where I'm able to be completely artistic and get paid for it. That's lame. Yeah. So when Patience happens upon a dark secret her employer is hiding, she finds herself in the middle of a corporate conspiracy. What happens next changes Patience forever. In a mystical twist of fate, she is transformed into a woman with the strength, speed, agility, and ultra-keen senses of a cat. Yes. Sorry. If Catwoman didn't exist, this would just sound like the funniest thing ever, honestly. Yeah, I feel like that's something really about it. That's the case for a lot of comic book stuff, but yeah. With her newfound prowess and feline intuition, Patience becomes Catwoman, a sleek and stealthy creature balancing on the thin line between good and bad. Like any wildcat, she's dangerous, elusive, and untamed. I love this one. Her adventures are complicated by a burgeoning relationship with Tom Lone. With another bad name, honestly. I was going to say, but you got to bear in mind, though, it rhymes with phone and bone. Oh, yeah, that was great. Stone. God, that was so cringy. Oh, God. A cop who has fallen for Patience, but cannot shake his fascination with the mysterious Catwoman. Yeah, so the basics are all there, and, everything comes to a head. Because, of course, she, ends up dating the guy who is investigating her case. There's another comic book coincidence that happens in a lot of these movies. It's a very short movie, honestly. Yeah, gratifyingly, some might say. Yes. Not me, though. Yes. And of course, like I said before, I think nothing works about this movie. It's all pretty damn awful. I don't know if I mentioned the action scenes before, but the action scenes are awful. The editing is awful. And that's something I was going to bring up, but that's horrendous as well. Obviously, because of all this, the film was nominated for 7 Golden Raspberry Awards. Yes.
And how many did it win, Michael?
Well, I know Halle Berry. She won.
Yeah, but,
because famously.
Yeah, but how many overall?
Oh God, out of 7, it won all 7.
No, it won 4.
Okay.
Worst picture, well, the main ones, honestly. Worst picture, so that's obviously the big one. Worst actress, of course, Halle Berry. Worst director, which was thoroughly deserved. And worst screenplay, which, yeah, I guess it was really bad because there was nothing to it. And, yeah, like, there's probably, like, bigger, like, plot holes in movies that were released that year. But, yeah, I'm absolutely fine with this being given that award. So Berry arrived at the ceremony to accept her Razzie in person. Of course, this is pretty famous. She semi-sarcastically described the film as a god-awful movie and quipped, "It was just what my career needed," which is kind of crazy that she did that. I think people have pointed out that this was the height of the Golden Raspberry Awards.
Yes.
This was, it was all downhill from here, much like Halle Berry's career after she won her Oscar. There's a nice parallel there. See, I used that word correctly there, Michael.
Yes, you did. Well done.
Proud of me there. Yeah. So yeah. I mean, have you seen that acceptance speech when she won her Golden Raspberry?
Does she say you really like me?
I can't remember.
Okay, yeah, I feel like, but I remember she's enthused about it, which well done. It's good to have a sense of humor about yourself.
Yeah, she says about the director Piatoff, like, I couldn't understand what you were saying.
That's quite funny.
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, honestly, if she could understand what he was saying, her performance might have been worse. The Golden Raspberry Award. This is probably the most famous winner, right? I can't think of a more.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like, I struggle with who's won. I don't know if I could, off the top of my head, name another person who's won one.
Yeah, no, I know. There was John Travolta in Battlefield Earth.
Yeah. Battlefield Earth, that was a big one. Yeah, I was thinking it'd probably be like, if you mentioned some of them, I would remember them. But yeah.
Yeah. So let's go ahead with the script. So, the opening credits, we start off with these Egyptian style opening credits, and I guess that's cool if this movie had like anything to do with Egypt. Honestly,
yeah, she should have been Egyptian. I mean, like,
well,
why not?
I guess so. I don't know.
In 2004, it would have been subversive to have an Arab superhero.
Well, there you go. That's why. that's why. But yeah, I guess cats have been everywhere in the world, and they are very important, and they are very poorly photoshopped into these pictures.
We saw, of course, Shrek 2 recently, which actually did show some of the power of cats. So
yeah. Puss in Boots, yeah. Oh,
yes.
Yeah, they should.
Cute. Oh, there should have been a moment where she did like the cute eyes.
Yeah. So yeah, we start off obviously with Patient Phillips. Again, an awful name. Working for a cosmetics company called Hedare Beauty, which is ready to ship a new skin cream called Buline that is able to reverse the effects of aging. And right from the off, the cutting, or just the amount of cuts, it's so frequent and annoying. Like I said, the editing is awful, and the directing as well at the same time. The combination it just creates this awful, like, I guess, style, which, again, there's just random cuts for no reason. Like, Patience is talking, what her bubbly friend is called, by the way?
I would know if you told me.
It's Sally.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Actually.
Yeah, that's a bubbly name. So, like, she's just talking to her friend, Sally, is Patience, and there's just these rapid cuts, and then the director, or the owner, George, whatever he's called, is giving a speech in the boardroom. He's replacing Sharon Stone, and there's just so many cuts there too. For whatever reason, are these intense scenes? No, it's just people talking in an office, but we get all these cuts, and that is unfortunately a theme throughout the movie, or a style which has continued. I don't know if you picked up on that and hated it as much as I did.
Yeah, I did hate it. I think I mean, it's bad for the action as well. When they're just being, let's say, erratic with the editing, because it means you can't actually tell what's going on.
And I guess it's meant to fit in with the fact that she's a cat, so like cats are like frenetic, I guess.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they have great reflexes and they're constantly moving. Well, it depends. Sometimes they're lazy, sometimes they're not. They've got quick reflexes, so. Okay, that's fine. When she's Catwoman, you can do that editing style, but not throughout the whole movie. Not when just two people are talking in an office.
Yeah.
So the director, or the owner, I put director in my notes, calls Patience in to complain about her new ad campaign. I love this scene. Do you remember what his main gripe was? Do you remember, like, the red isn't dark enough? Yeah. And it's just such a funny issue to have. Like, oh no, this whole ad campaign is ruined because the red isn't dark enough. It's like that can be changed in 2 seconds.
Yeah, she should have just brought her highlighter in with her, and she could have solved all her problems.
Yeah, I know. Also, like, her clothes as well. Okay, right. Nobody would dress like this. 'Cause it's like she's blind, you know. And again, it's a trope that is done in movies, right? You know, to make the pretty girl less pretty, you know. But it's just so obviously bad.
Do they have her wearing glasses?
No.
Okay, because that's like a common one. Like usually it's like if she's got her hair tied up and she's wearing glasses, and then like later on she takes her glasses off and it's like, oh, she's actually attractive.
Yeah, yeah. It's just such a schlocky move, and it's just so obvious. Like they made it too obvious in this one. You know, again, but poor directing from Pitoff. Just the opening few minutes in this movie, you got annoying cuts, and then obviously later you got annoying cats, don't you?
They should have called this Catwoman.
Yeah, they should have. Okay, so I love the scene, by the way, when she's at her house and she wants the music to be turned down. Wednesday nights, it must be like a midweek because she goes into work the next day. That's when, you know, everybody is at parties in Gotham. You know, I assume it's Gotham.
Yeah, also in like this shitty like apartment. Like it's a bit weird because when she goes there later on, it seems like it's a full on like nightclub. Like it's quite a big room.
Yeah.
So, just a place to host your parties at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is it a nightclub or somebody's house? Because like if it's a nightclub, like she can't complain. You know?
Yeah, and that was poor planning as well.
Yeah, shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I also like the fact that no other resident is bothered by this. By the way, like she lived like everyone else is at the party. She's like the only one. At this point, maybe she's the problem.
Yeah, that's a good point. She then wakes up the next day and she almost dies trying to rescue a cat. Like, why do that for a fucking cat?
Yeah.
You know?
Also, for the record, like I'm 100% sure that the cat is like the cat got there. Like I've always found it a bit weird that she just like assumes the cat's in trouble.
Yes.
And needs to rescue it.
Because cats famously aren't good with heights, you know.
Yeah.
They're famously not agile, you know, at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like it's so stupid. And then of course she always kills herself, and then, you know, Benjamin Bratt, you know, saves her. And
okay, maybe I'm retarded. Can I say that? How did he find out what her job was?
She dropped her wallet, and of course he went to her job to give it back, and maybe because of her wallet he could find out who she was in some way. I'm not sure, but
abusing police power, that's fun.
Again, he is a detective, so I'm gonna let that slide there.
All cops are wonderful. That's what we say.
Yeah. Again, by the way, I think she's like wearing the same clothes that she wore the day before.
Oh yeah, but they only hired the office for one day.
Okay, right. So, what you mean when they're shooting?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I guess so. And again, like the side character. Do you remember the gay side character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I'm like thinking, who is this movie for? Because again, this is a very like female, like centered, you know, kind of dynamic you got going on in the office with her friend. You know, she's got the fat friend, she's got the gay friend.
Yeah, the two friends every girl needs. Does someone call the cop a manwich at some point?
Yeah, that's the gay guy. Yeah.
Yeah, good. It was like hot piece of manwich coming through.
No, I think he says man sandwich.
Oh, man sandwich. Oh,
yeah.
That's what he likes. That's what he's like on a Wednesday. Wouldn't it be funny if like he was the one at the party?
No, I mean it would make sense if it was a gay club, but I doubt it was. I don't think it was. But yeah, no, you joke about that, but again, like it's, you know, that is a trope. You got the. Again, sorry to use the term fat.
Okay, because you were talking about a gay person and you said like a word that started with fat. I think you were like, sorry to use the word fat. I was like, oh wow, Luke. I mean, you didn't. Okay.
Yeah, those two friends. That's a trope. You know, you got our main character. You know, the person that, you know, is the center of the movie. She is an attractive person, and yeah, her friends are either not so attractive or gay, or a gay man, obviously. So yeah, that's like. So I'm thinking these are tropes for like female like censored movies or movies appealing to women. So, you know, who was the target audience here for this movie? Because I don't think it's those kind of that kind of demographic. Yeah, and another thing about the directing, I guess, like, or the editing, that there's this. I feel like throughout the movie, there's a weird filter, like on everyone. You know.
Yeah, I can certainly see that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, it's obvious in some scenes, but in some scenes it's not. Like, yeah, it's like there's this weird filter on everything, which is a bit weird. Again, I just don't know if that was at all necessary. Well, it wasn't, because it was distracting, honestly, for me. And I'm not sure stylistically, did it enhance the movie? Nope, I don't think it did. So yeah, Patience, obviously, she has this midnight deadline for this project, you know?
Yes.
So she visits the R&D lab facility to deliver the redone ad design. Instead of, you know, just emailing the designs, because obviously you have to deliver them in person, because email didn't exist in the early 2000s, am I right? That was definitely the case.
Yeah.
So there at the labs, again, I don't know why she has to go to the labs, but whatever. Like, she's a designer. Why is she going to the fucking labs?
I also like how the labs look like a supervillain's lair.
Yeah. Well, just none of this makes any sense. I'm sorry. And I know this is crazy to say. I don't think a lot of this makes sense. Now I'm thinking about it. So there at these labs, she overhears a discussion between scientist Dr. Ivan Slavicki, what a name, and Laurel Hadar. That is Sharon Stone, of course. About the dangerous side effects from continually using the product Buline. And yeah, for some reason they are having this conversation at like 10 p.m. at night. I imagine you remember when the scientist Ivan Slavicki is talking. Again, I've talked about the cutting, how it's very annoying, but particularly when the scientist is talking. Like, do you remember the cutting? It's just insane. Like when he's talking to Sharon Stone. I've just never seen cutting like this in a movie, or editing.
Yeah. They do. I don't know. I guess it's because they think if people are talking, then it's boring. Obviously.
Yeah.
I did want to say something. Like, I could say this at any point, pretty much from now on. But like, and I'm not necessarily counting this as a problem because you could just say it's something that's not explained. But I like the fact that like, obviously they're acting as if like this seems to exist in a world where companies exclusively regulate themselves, and there's not like government regulatory agencies that would like check this stuff for side effects.
That's a good point. Yeah,
and I'm like, well, maybe like they've bought off, all the politicians and stuff, but obviously they don't say that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Actually, yeah, that is a good point. So yeah, obviously you have to do testing on like monkeys and stuff beforehand.
Yes.
Which again, I imagine the monkeys, would reveal the side effects of the cream. So yeah, again, just nothing makes sense about the plot, but whatever. And just back to the cutting, at one point, again, you'd have to rewatch it again to know specifically what I'm talking about. But like Sharon Stone is talking, and we just see like the Chinese like guy, the Chinese bodyguard or the Asian bodyguard. Don't know who's Chinese. Like he hasn't talked yet, and we just see him like staring at Sharon Stone, but we don't see Sharon Stone at all. Like even though like sometimes you do this, like I guess. Tactic because you don't want to reveal who's talking, but like we already know who is talking, right? I mean,
yeah,
that character has already been introduced, unless maybe it's a reveal. No, they do cut to her in that scene, don't they?
No, yeah. I can't think what it'd be. I mean, anyway, like I always thought, like, because that guy like tries to stop the other guy from shooting her, like when they're chasing patients. I was like, are they going to do something with this character in terms of like just a minor thing where it turns out because I was like they've clearly set him up to have some kind of like moral compass of sorts.
I love that. Like I put that in my notes when the Chinese guy stops the white guy from shooting, and the white guy goes, "Don't you ever do that again." It's like, what is the backstory between these two? What is the dynamic? Like, I want to know more. They just it's never addressed again. I kind of love that. So those are like so bad it's good moments, which unfortunately I don't think appear enough in the movie. But I enjoyed that bit.
Well, oh no, sorry. I was just thinking. Yeah, I realized I was going to jump ahead of myself in terms of. I mean, to be fair, like it definitely gets like more ridiculous when she becomes, Catwoman. But proceed.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, let's talk about you know what Sharon Stone's character is called, by the way.
Well, it's like a weird name, isn't it? It's
Laurel.
Like, Laurel, yeah, exactly.
So Laurel's guards discover patients and are ordered to dispose of her. And this is what you were talking about in your nitpicks. I don't know why she. Didn't just go, oh yeah, I'm here to hand in the designs.
Yeah.
Somebody.
She's a very suspicious woman that is like, just as soon as she like works out there's any kind of, I don't know, like corporate issue going on, she's like, I'm just going to pretend I'm not here.
You work for this company.
Yeah.
You are allowed to be on these premises because you are like the lead designer. You could just, hey, these are the designs. I work here. And Sharon Stone's like, oh yeah, I know her. Like, obviously she knows her. Like,
also you could get like some perks. Like, I'm not saying like blackmail them because I think that would work well. But like, I'm sure like maybe she'd be like, because they don't want to have like a missing person on their hands. She'd be like, oh, hey, maybe I'll give you a little bit of a raise. Like, that's what I'd be like. If I saw my boss doing something evil, I'd be like, I think I'll make him aware or her aware that I'm here. And then obviously.
But she barely knows anything about, like, she's just there for like 2 seconds as well.
Yeah, she hears like just basically like there's a problem, and it's like, well, I guess it's like someone's like, oh, we need to sell this even though there's a problem. But yeah, she really doesn't know enough to like worry that she's found something super incriminating.
Yeah, exactly. So again, like it's stupid. Everything is stupid about this movie. So Patience tries to escape using a conduit pipe, but the minions, I love that Wikipedia refers to them as minions. Maybe because one of them's Chinese, Because they're small Asians.
Yes.
Okay, did you not understand?
Well, sorry, I'm not gonna lie, I thought you were being even more racist because of the colour of minions.
That's a good point. Thankfully, I wasn't.
Okay, good.
I was just being racist in another way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the minions have sealed it and flush her out of it, drowning her. Next, we get the second greatest scene, I think, in cinematic history, okay? So these are fleeting moments in terms of so bad it's good.
Oh, but the cat burps in her mouth.
This is one of these moments. So, washed up on shore, Patience is mysteriously revived by an Egyptian Mao cat named Midnight. Again, the CGI cat just goes up to her, crawls on her, and burps in her face, like you said, Michael. What a great way for a superhero to get her powers, What a fantastic way. Iconic, some might say.
Yeah. Like, again, obviously, we've already kind of, like, pointed out, like, the way... I feel like, on some level... the fact someone gets powers, there has to be something kind of satisfying about it. Like with Batman, Spider-Man, they kind of like, they set up like, oh, this is the, like you have the whole scene where they literally go and they see the spiders and like, these are the spiders we've been experimenting on, we've created, and they like explain everything. So when it happens, you're like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Whereas here, you're like, okay, a cat's burped in her mouth. I wish I knew what was happening here. I mean, again, seeing as I'm very keen on offering minor improvements to this movie, even though some might say it needs slightly more than minor improvements. It would have been slightly better if, like, they had, I don't know, like, somehow... It's all very stupid. Like, in some way, they would have, like, set up the fact that cats are awesome earlier. I don't know. None of it really works, because it just doesn't make any sense. Like, someone can't get burped on by a cat and get superpowers.
No, that generally... Yes. Isn't the case. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So let's talk about, I guess, the Catwoman character again. Like, she's... in this movie, not a cat burglar. She is genetically enhanced, I guess. Well, genetically, like, she obviously has these superhuman abilities. Like, for instance, she can see CGI seagulls from a long way off,
Yes, that is useful, actually.
Yes, which is different and also worse than the comic books. Because, again, the comic book character of Selina Kyle, I don't know if she has these, like, superhuman abilities. Like, she's just, like, really, like, I guess, athletic and really good, I guess, as a gymnast would be, flexible.
Well, she's literally like a cat burglar, which is like a thing already.
Exactly. And that is, I guess, the origin for her character. She's this cat burglar, and therefore she becomes Catwoman. It's not the other way around. It's not the fact that, oh, she is Catwoman, like, she becomes like a cat, and then she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to use these powers to, steal diamonds. There's just something kind of fun about, the character of Catwoman in terms of like, oh, she has to be Catwoman because she steals stuff. That's an interesting thing about her character. Like, is she good? Is she bad? Well, she's kind of good, but like, she steals, I guess, like diamonds or jewelry in general, and so that's something interesting about her. And like this movie kind of removes that backstory, removes that origin story, and replaces it with like, oh, she's this graphic designer and this beauty company who then gets burped on. It's just not as interesting, honestly, is it?
Yeah, and you could say it kind of like takes away from the idea of like it being authentic to her that she has these powers, or like that she behaves this way, because it's kind of like they pretty much lean into the idea of like, oh, this is like an alternative personality that's taking over, and you could be like, well, clearly, I don't know, maybe like eventually they kind of merge, but it does make it feel a little bit like it's less her character development and more just an artificial change that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point as well. Like, does she have a connection to cats in any way beforehand? Like you've said, well, not really.
She doesn't even own a cat.
Yeah, she doesn't own a cat. Like, she rescues a cat, but not really. She almost kills herself in the process. So yeah, like it's just really shit. She goes home and somehow wakes up in, she in her clothes, which obviously are different to the night before. I don't know how she did that, but whatever. The first thing she does when she gets up, it's to return the cat that has been in her house. She doesn't try to work out what she did the other day. The cat is called Midnight, by the way, and Midnight's owner is eccentric, according to Wikipedia. That's the term, which I think is a nice term. I think for a crazy cat lady, I think that's a good term.
Yes.
So researcher Ophelia Powers is Midnight's owner, and yeah, I love the line where I think the cat is called Socrates, and Socrates tries to drink some of her coffee, and she's like, "No, don't do that." He gets so irritable, like when you give him fucking coffee. I was like, "Yeah, I think it's a bad idea for cats to drink coffee." I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Especially because they're so tiny.
Yeah, I know. Then Ophelia Powers, she then throws this catnip at Patience, and I think this is, look, Halle Berry, this is probably the best acting of her career. She catches the catnip and rolls it around over her face.
Yeah, and you said the fetish stuff wasn't hot.
I'm just like, she must be so embarrassed while doing this, honestly.
Yeah.
At what point in this movie do you think she regretted signing up for it? You know,
I don't know. See, sometimes I do wonder whether or not, because like a lot of this is in the editing. Like I sometimes, like they do say sometimes that with these actors, they don't really realize when you're in the moment, you don't realize how bad a film is. And like when you think about like a lot of this film, like not to say that the script was great, not to say that by any means, but I felt like maybe she was like she was thinking it would be better than it was, because like a lot of this stuff you could say like some of the bad stuff was post-production.
Yeah, maybe, but that, I mean, what you're doing in the moment though.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
that's not post-production when she's putting the catnip on it. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
I guess they're like, oh, it'll be comedic. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, the comedic tone doesn't really work with the other tone in the movie, which is she's this like ferocious like Catwoman who takes no prisoners, but whatever. Again, it's schlocky, so I guess it can be forgiven. That's one of the so good it's bad moments, and then I just love how after she does that, after she finishes rolling the catnip on her face, it just cuts to her on the street. Like, again, it's just such an awful cut, because normally after that you'd expect her to have or to walk out the house and say I'm good, but no, it just cuts to her on the street. I find that very funny, that cut, and then she gets fired from her job, of course.
She says, how about the remix?
Yes.
That's such a good way to like tell someone off.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that was a term in the early 2000s that was used a lot. Yeah. Maybe.
We used to, I don't know if you know this, but like, I don't know like why you would know this. We used to have a kid who stuttered at our school, and like whenever he stuttered, people would go, remix.
That's great. That's great. Remix me. Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah, that was classic. Good old times.
Those are the days, man.
Yeah, bullying kids at school.
Oh, God. That, you know what? I don't advocate for bullying in general, but if there is some, like, I guess, wit to it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. Also, it's like the what's it called? The trolley problem. What's more important? Somebody having a miserable childhood, or lots of other children having a good time bonding?
Obviously, she gets fired from her job, because being Catwoman makes you, like, sassy.
Sassy, and she doesn't even commit to the sassiness, which is embarrassing.
Yeah, and she snarls at dogs, too, which is great. Again, like, yes. At what point was she thinking, I don't want to do this anymore? That's the thing, though. Halle Berry isn't, like, from what I gather, she's not that serious a person. So maybe she was fine with all of this. Yeah,
just like she was fine when Adrian Brody sexually assaulted her at the Oscars.
Okay, so her friend encourages her, to get with Benjamin Bratt for some reason. Like that's the thing. He's attractive to these women, obviously,
whereas we think he has a pointy face.
Yes, yes, we do. Yeah, and the gay guy as well. Everyone loves this guy, but she says, "Oh, it didn't work out." I love how her friend's like, "No." Come on, like he's attractive. I don't care if it didn't work out. You should go for it again. So she does, and then, of course, she meets him at the school. He's giving a talk. Like he's the best detective in the world, man. He's doing everything, honestly.
Yeah, he is really nice.
He finishes the talk he's doing with these kids. So then they go outside onto the playground to play a little basketball.
Yes,
and of course, Catwoman or Patience is there, and. Of course, I said before, the second greatest scene was when the cat burps in her face. Now we get onto the greatest scene in cinematic history, which is the basketball scene.
Yeah, well, this is like, we've already made a reference to Daredevil. Of course, in Daredevil, you have the scene where, I think I'm right, it's in a playground, also in front of a bunch of kids.
Yes.
And they start, like, kung fu fighting.
Yes.
This is similar, except they're not kung fu fighting, they're playing basketball.
Yes, with Scandalous by... do you know who the artist is?
Is it? I really feel like I know. Damn it, tell me.
Mystique.
Okay. Oh, Mystique, yeah. I was going to say Ashante. Do you remember Ashante?
Yeah, I do remember Ashante.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, but I was wrong.
Yeah, so that song came out in 2003.
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, I felt like I remember the music of the early 2000s. It was kind of fun in a way.
Yeah, British group, girl group, of course, Mystique. Yes. They were active from 2000 to 2005.
Those British, eh?
Yeah. Those were the days, weren't they? Those were the fucking days. Oh, Alicia Dixon. There you go. Wait, is that somebody who I know?
Yeah, Alicia Dixon. She's had an independent career, definitely.
Yes,
I can't think what she's done, but she's done some stuff.
Oh yeah, in 2007 she won the 5th series of BBC One's dancing competition show, Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh, lovely.
And then her television exposure led to a successful musical comeback.
Wow.
Oh yeah, this is the fucking song. Yes, and produced the successful singles "The Boy Does Nothing."
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
I
Song.
remember not liking that song.
What is it? He doesn't
Because,
wash up. He doesn't clean up.
Yeah.
He does nothing. The boy does
Yeah,
nothing.
I remember finding that he does nothing, the boy does nothing. I remember that, like, being a very irritating, grating sound.
Yes, but I remember, like, back in 2008, that must have been, that was on the radio all the time.
Yeah. Okay, this is important as well while we're being sidetracked. The first studio album by Mystique was called Lickin' on Both Sides.
Okay.
What the hell does that mean? It sounds fun.
Those were the days, man. Those were the days. And yeah, obviously, the kids. What do they want? Like, the kids with a basketball. Do they want to play basketball themselves?
No.
No. They want the two adults who are supervising them to play basketball against each other. So yeah, they want a one-on-one. They want Benjamin Bratt to play Halle Berry because, of course, why wouldn't you want that? And yeah, in this basketball game, this one-on-one game, they are grinding against each other. And at one point, she's twerking.
Yes.
With all of these kids watching. Like, at least in Daredevil, that didn't happen.
Yeah. I was gonna say in Daredevil it was more aggression. In fact, if anything, she was resisting the sex, whereas here she's into it.
Yeah. And then she sort of dunks over him again. Like, she doesn't actually dunk over him. But yeah, it's just, again, that's the thing. I was expecting to watch it and think, oh, this is so bad it's good, but it's actually quite cringy. I think I struggle to watch it because
I do enjoy cringing sometimes though.
No, but this was so bad, man. This was like so. Like, I just want to know how this scene was conceived. How do you go from like Catwoman to let's get her playing basketball?
Yeah. I feel like you got to bear in mind French people. I think they get like they're considered romantic, but it's all because of the accent. Deep down, they have no idea what they're doing. It's like, I think what would be sexy is if you play basketball in front of many children. And also because they're French, they think children should be involved.
Okay, right, that's a good point. So let's talk about her powers now. Not Ophelia powers, her powers.
That's a funny name. Yeah.
Obviously, one of her powers is she is great at basketball. She's good at snarling at dogs.
Yes.
She likes eating tuna in her bed and jumping around her apartment like a cat.
She's good at running around the walls in CGI.
Yeah, she
can do a lot of stuff in CGI.
Yeah, I like how she tells her. I called her annoying friend now. God, I have come up with so many insults in my notes.
I didn't realize you were a misogynist.
I know, like, I really hate this Sally character. So her annoying friend asks her, what's wrong, and she's like, I don't know what's happening to me, but like, obviously you would think, why am I behaving like a cat? Like, I don't know, it just seems pretty obvious, and also you'd probably want to go to the doctor. But yeah, and also having these Catwoman powers makes you want to wear this leather outfit and give yourself a new haircut with two scissors at the same time.
Yes.
And steal motorbikes as well. These are all things
she is a thief.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is she good? Is she bad? Oh, who knows? Like, the worst thing she does is she steals a motorbike.
From a guy who was playing music loud, so he deserved it.
That's a good point, yeah. And I guess, the power is, she has increased confidence, So she was weak before, like the legal website's description of the movie said she wanted to apologize for her own existence. But now she's confident. And I guess that's what becoming Catwoman has made her, but I don't know if that works, because I don't know if cats are that outgoing, Like,
I was going to say, like, when I see cats, they often run away.
Yeah, cats are like, well, the phrase scaredy cat comes to mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So
her superpower is that she's scared, so she can avoid danger.
Yeah. So why would, like, being a cat make you this, like, aggressive and confident and outgoing,
Yeah. If anything, she should be called Panther Woman, because panthers, they're confident.
Yeah, but no, obviously there's...
She should be called Black Panther.
Yeah, there's Black Panther already exists, yeah. Yeah, maybe Brown Panther, maybe.
Yeah, because she's light-skinned.
Yeah, light-skinned panther. There you go. That could be it. Yeah, and also, like, do cats... Like, obviously, she goes to the jewelry store to rob it. But again, like, do cats like expensive, like, jewelry? Like,
I was thinking that, like, she Magpie Woman.
Yeah, well, that's good. So the original Catwoman, like I said before, likes diamonds because she is a cat burglar. And again, what a coincidence! She wants to steal this necklace, and she interrupts a robbery taking place at the exact same time.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like, she's pretty hypocritical for, like, it seems like she's. Like, I don't know if she's just annoyed that they're, like, in on her turf, or if she actually doesn't like it, because, like, I was like, seems like she's being a bit hypocritical, taking them down.
And their men, of course. Let's not forget that. This scene is one of the good scenes in the movie, and by good I mean
Great.
Of course, yeah, it's so bad it's good. Do you remember the glass breaking when the guy with the gun, tries to hit it but doesn't?
I don't think I remember that specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's so obvious, man. It's so fucking obvious. Like, he uses like the butt of his gun to like break the glass with it.
And it's like a CGI like.
Well, no. The glass like breaks without him hitting it, and you can see it. And obviously, the glass is timed to break when the gun goes near it. But you can tell the gun doesn't make contact with the glass, and it's just so obvious, man. It's so bad. One of the worst directed movies I've ever seen, because stuff like that never happens. Like, it's just stuff which, even in like schlocky B movies, you wouldn't expect that to happen. Then obviously the two burglars, they see Catwoman and they just start shooting at her, and I'm
I was like, burglars seem very willing to add a murder to their their crimes.
Well, yeah, because like that's the thing. If you rob a jewelry store, okay, that's a big deal, but it's not the end of the world. If you murder someone while doing it, that's a big fucking deal. That's a massive deal now.
Yeah, haven't these guys seen Reservoir Dogs?
Yeah. So I love when again she surfs the guy. That's great. Like that whole action scene is just so schlocky and just awful and wonderful. And then afterwards, the next day when the police come to investigate, and they one of them says they say she jumps around like a cat. Just
it sounds like, hey, more like a cat broad. That's what she's called.
Fucking cat broad. Am I right? Yeah. So I guess like one of her powers, again, just to conclude on this, is like she goes into a trance at night. I guess like her Catwoman,
like a werewolf.
Yeah, her Catwoman persona is more powerful at night. Like it takes over her when it's dark. Like is that the case? Perhaps.
Yeah, or like maybe because she's sleeping, like her just her conscious mind isn't as aware.
Yeah. So Patience, she's like, what's going on here? I need to figure out what's happening. So she Googles the cat in history. I love that. The cat in history. So she does some research, and I laughed at that. That was funny. It's like the Twilight scene when Bella searches vampires.
I was thinking that. Like I was thinking that's a very similar thing.
So two great movies, two great scenes, and she goes back to the crazy cat lady's house and learns that the Egyptian Mao cat serves as they serve as messengers of the goddess Bast, which is interesting, I guess. But they
based.
The base, that's good. Patience realizes that she is now a Catwoman, reborn with abilities that are both a blessing and a curse.
Huh?
Well,
are they really a curse?
Well, she was just Well, I put
a dog thing, yeah.
Well, she was just told that, really, wasn't she? Like Wikipedia says she realizes it. Like, no, the lady told her.
That's true, yeah.
And the lady says, "Oh yeah, it's a blessing and a curse." But is it a curse? I mean, apparently she's meant to be alone. That's one of the downsides. I guess that's why at the end of the movie she doesn't get with Benjamin Bratt, because that's what but she can do that if she wants, I guess she can't get with him specifically because he is a detective and she wants to be outside the law. But she, it's just okay. Don't date a cop then. I'm sure you'll be fine. And I get all of this backstory, Michael. I'm not sure if it is in the comics. Okay, I'm not sure if it's a comic thing about the Egyptian.
I'm gonna guess it's not.
Well, maybe, I don't know. The Egyptian Mao cats. If it's all made up, whatever. But my question is, like, all of this lore, does it have a point? Like, why do cat women exist? Like, is there some higher reason? Like, is she meant to protect women, or cats? Is that why this Catwoman thing exists? And I don't think that seems to be the case, right?
No, I'm not picking up those vibes at all.
Yeah, and so what's the point then?
There is no point.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point in doing all of this lore if there's just no point to it? Like, just some woman gets to become Catwoman, and that's it. Great. Well, there's nothing. You would think that, if this has happened for thousands of years, there'd be a central point to it, but apparently not. And again, I love when the old lady hands her the cat fetish mask and says, "Accept it, child."
I like that too.
Yeah, that was great. So, disguised as a vigilante, Patience, under the cover of darkness, searches for answers as to who killed her and why. And she does so in this, again, leather fetish outfit for some reason. And again, we have some awful early 2000s CGI, which apparently, what I like the awful CGI more than the outfit, honestly. Which apparently you disagree with.
No, yeah, I like the outfit because I'm a straight man.
Yeah.
But I guess if you're more attracted to computers, you would like the CGI.
Her search means she finds Slavic's body. That's the scientist, and is accused of his murder. Just what a great coincidence. Like as soon as she breaks into the building, like, oh, there's a dead guy there.
Yeah, and that's like convenient for the the bad guys.
Yeah, I know. It's just super convenient for the bad guys, super unlucky for her. Just another great, plot convenience. Yeah, I will give the movie a morsel of credit. At least Catwoman figures out relatively quickly that, the beauty cream is making people sick.
Yeah.
But there is no real mystery, there. I mean, it's kind of obvious from the start. I don't know. I've seen comic book movies where main characters are just really dumb. At least she's not dumb in this instance. She puts two and two together.
She works stuff out. Yeah. Well, the example I can think of where like this character is really dumb is in the Amazing Spider-Man 1, where it takes him ages to realize the guy's the lizard. And it's like what? He's like that. Yeah, there are a few examples where like they should work this stuff out. Yeah.
So she puts two and two together, and then Benjamin Bratt, starts to suspect Patience. And honestly, again, this is a really funny. This is one of the so bad it's good scenes when he figures out her. This handwriting is kind of similar to Patience's handwriting. So I've never seen forensic analysis for handwriting like this. Like,
the guy's like, oh, like she's confident and like things like that. Like, he like comes up with a whole personality profile.
Yeah. So the police apparently have a guy who analyzes handwriting like to a really specific level, and also like the tech as well. Like these computers are scanning like the fucking cup.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And the bag, and it's like really high tech for like the early 2000s. It's so bad, man. But I love it. That's great. So obviously Patience confronts George. He's the owner of the beauty company as Catwoman, and he reveals that he knows nothing about the side effects. And then Laurel, of course, then murders George for his infidelity and admits to having Dr. Slavicki killed because he wanted to cancel the product's release. She contacts Catwoman and frames her for the murder of George. And I guess, yeah, obviously, Sharon Stone is the villain, and the message is women can be evil as well,
It's about time someone said it, frankly.
Yeah, like women, of course, look, men are bad, right? Men are, they commit infidelity, men are sleazy, like this George guy who's untalented, he has a big ego apparently as well, he's not nice to work for, but women can be evil as well. Let's not get it twisted. Do you think, the man is the evil guy, but no, it's actually his wife. So that is progressive, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that we finally got that. Someone's finally said it, frankly.
Finally. So Patience slips out of her cell, so the cell bars are quite far apart, and confronts Laurel in her office. But before that, she gets turned on by, again, this is one of the weirdest scenes in the movie. Like a Jaguar car hits her in her bum, and she apparently gets turned on by that. She doesn't see the Jaguar though, or the Jaguar, I guess, logo on the car. Then she turns around and I don't know, just does this weird cat noises at it again. Like, how, if you're Halle Berry, you're not thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? I don't know, man. But did you enjoy that scene?
Yeah, I like how she stole that person. Like, she did rob that person. She's still kind of an anti-hero, at least,
Yeah,
so she's morally complex. It's a lot like The Dark Knight, this movie.
Yeah, morally like she likes stealing cars and motorbikes,
Yeah.
She steals modes of transport.
Just like a cat.
Yeah, just like a cat. So Laurel, of course, then reveals the product's side effects. Discontinuing its use makes the skin disintegrates, while continuing to make the skin as hard as marble. That seems kind of like a contradiction, honestly. But whatever.
Yeah, I will say, it's not actually a bad way to have a villain get their superpowers.
No.
You want someone with a really hard face? Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, a really hard face. So during the fight, it's a very funny fight. Like, when Catwoman gets stabbed, that's a great expression Halle Berry pulls as well. Yeah, that's great. But anyway, she scratches. It's a cat fight, because she scratches Laurel's face several times, causing Laurel to fall out of a window and grab onto a pipe. Then Laurel sees her rapidly disfiguring face in a window's reflection and is horrified, and then of course falls to her death. So yeah, a woman, she's killed by her need to be pretty. It's an inherent flaw in women that they're just so pretty. If they see themselves be ugly, they just want to commit suicide.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's why you got to tell women they're happy. Oh, sorry, they're pretty because they're constantly on edge.
Yes, and of course we have some nice ragdoll physics. Well, they use a ragdoll for Sharon Stone. In a $100 million movie, and it's just so obvious. It's a doll when she falls from that height. I guess there are some so good it's bad moments littered. Get it, littered. Get it?
Like cat litter. Okay, yeah, I actually only just okay.
Littered throughout the movie, and that was one of them. So I guess I'll conclude on that. It's mainly awful. There are so many issues which we've gone through. You can pick out so many things in every scene. So many poor things. So many things where you're like, how did that happen? That's an awful line of dialogue. That makes no sense. That's awful directing. And you could go on and on, like in every scene. But there are, again, littered throughout the movie, some so bad it's good moments. So I'm just looking as to what I gave Daredevil last year. So I gave that a 4 last year. So this is, again, it's not quite as good as Daredevil in terms of it being enjoyable schlock. So yeah, I'm only going to give this a 3 out of 10, Michael. But yeah, still pretty bad. What about you?
I was thinking a 3 out of 10 too. Yeah, I think like basically for me, the main issue is, well, there's some objective stuff in terms of the production, like the terrible CGI and editing, like the tone and the inconsistency in terms of who the film's for. It's definitely not Catwoman. Like, I feel like this was a thing though back in the day. People used to like just say they were making films and then they just weren't making those films. Like I can't think of like another example of it, but it's definitely a thing that's happened before where it's like, because obviously this is just like, if you are a fan of the Catwoman character, this is just not her, which I feel like that's got to count for something against it. But yeah, I think 3. I'll give it a low 3.
Okay, yeah, again, I think that's a fair rating. So what are we doing next week, Michael?
Next week, like I say, we're doing heroes. We're looking at the 2 greatest heroes at all. We're looking at white chicks.
Yes, white chicks. 2
and of
people.
course, the reason that they're social heroes, aren't they? Because they destroyed an important boundary that exists in society.
Yes, and FBI agents, and the FBI are very good. They're heroes. They're the everyday heroes. So yeah, join us next week for our final movie where our heroes dress up in a disguise to solve some crimes. And yeah, but that is it for Catwoman. Again, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's for that budget, at least. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And let's see how White Chicks is next week. So yeah, join us for that. Who've you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke. Thanks for listening. And yeah, goodbye.
Goodbye.